Hello, everybody. How are you guys tonight? I hope you guys are good. I'm going to try to move that a little bit closer. Okay. So, Lauren Cook and her 3 children are still missing, have not been seen or heard from. And I want to talk about what's going on with the husband. Okay. Give me just 1 second and we'll get started. Okay. So, first, nope, you just got here, Casey. No problem. All right. So, the last time her mother heard from her was September 5th. And she said that she was in New York visiting family. Now, the cops found that interesting because they thought she went missing from Ferrum, Virginia, where she lives. Now, the husband says that he has had contact with his wife. Authorities cannot confirm that. He says that they are not missing and that he's not concerned and that he's sure that they're fine. He's not acting like a typical husband of a missing family, is he? I did want to say that, I pray to God that we're not looking at another Chris Watts case here. So she was reported missing, her and her children, on September 13th, but she has not actually been heard from since September 5th. Now, it would be very easy for him to say, listen, I talked to her, but her phone, listen to this, her phone has not pinged since September 7th, and there has been zero activity on her bank accounts. Yet she was, let me grab this real quick. Let me just read this to you. Okay. I have no reason to be concerned about their safety or well-being. I have heard from my wife, and I'm sure she and my children are doing well. September 13th, she was reported missing. No one has talked to Lauren since September 5th, when she said she was in New York visiting family. However, on September 14th, 2023, investigators confirmed that Lauren and her children were in Litchfield, Illinois. They determined that she stayed there for 1 night and then moved on. Her phone last pinged on September 7th in Lexington. Now, her husband originally said that he had not had any contact with her and then changed his story to said that he recently had contact with her. No activity on her bank account. If anyone has any information on her whereabouts, they are urged to contact the sheriff's office at 540-483-3000. They may be traveling in a 2013 blue Chrysler van. Now, what kind of husband is not concerned? Not only is his pregnant wife missing, but so are his 3 children, and he seems not one bit worried about it. It's very sketchy. Now, it would be very easy, since her phone has not pinged since September 7th, okay? That means that she couldn't possibly have called him on or on the 13th. I guess he said he talked to her on the 13th. But there was nothing like that on her phone. So make sense. And again, I will say that she was reported missing on the 13th, but was actually last talked to her mom on the 5th. Nobody's heard from her since. So it would be easy for the cops to take the husband's phone and say, okay, what number did she call you from? So you was using somebody else's landline or was using somebody else's cell phone and called you from a random number? Like, it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, let me pull this up. Her mother reported her missing. The husband, they just talked to him and he said, listen, guys, my wife's not missing. My kids are not missing. Even though I have not seen them in 2 to 3 weeks, I'm sure they're fine. That is so sketchy. Why are you not concerned? Now, hold on. Let's watch this. This was from News Nation just 4 hours ago.
Missing for about 2 weeks now, and her 3 young children. Right now, the search is on for a Virginia mother and her 3 young children, missing for about 2 weeks now, but her husband claims they're fine. 30-year-old Lauren Cook was last seen with her 3 children, ages 2, 5, and 7, at the family's home in Virginia at the end of August. Police say Cook last spoke with her mother around September 5th, with Cook telling her they were in New York visiting family. Remember, no one saw her. They were officially reported missing September 13th after Cook did not attend a rescheduled appearance in Franklin County Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court. The next day, investigators confirmed Cook and her children were in Illinois, but again, no one had seen them. Her husband says that he has talked to Lauren and that the children are doing well and that he wants everyone to respect their family's privacy right now. But the rest of Lauren's family says they can't.
Now, explain that to me. Explain that to me, where a husband whose whole family is missing, okay, his 3 children and his pregnant wife have been missing, and he says they're not missing, doesn't confirm where they are, doesn't say a word about it, but says, please respect our family's privacy. Are you kidding me? Now, let me finish this video and then I'll go on from there.
Cannot get in touch with her. Let's bring in News Nation law and justice contributor Jennifer Coffendorfer, who joins us live from CrimeCon in Orlando, Florida. Jennifer, thank you so much for being with us. I want to talk to you about CrimeCon, but first I want to talk about this case. So the husband here, Lauren's husband, says things are fine. Law enforcement, though, says Cook and her kids will remain on the missing registry because their names are on the missing registry. What do you think's going on here, Jennifer?
Well, I think what's going on is the husband is not being truthful and is not being completely candid. Her cell phone doesn't have usage. There are no bank records that are being used. In other words, she's not using her credit cards. She's not using her bank cards. That tells me a lot right there because people don't disappear and leave their husbands without using their monetary resources and without using their phones.
So Jennifer, it seems like it would be difficult, as you say, no cell phone usage, no credit cards. It seems like it would be difficult to do that, especially with 3 young children in tow. Again, we're talking about ages 7, 5, and then 2, but it is not out of the realm of possibility. Is it possible that maybe Lauren left her husband and doesn't want to be found?
I don't think it's possible in this case. Certainly, they're going to be checking it out.
Okay, now that is where I do disagree. Because it is a possibility that she left her husband, took her kids and left her husband. We don't know what the home situation was like. We don't know what it was like there. We don't know what their relationship was like. So I do think it is a possibility that she could have, just gone up and left her husband, but you'd think she would at least tell her mother. You know what I mean? It seemed like they had a close relationship. So it seemed like it would have been something that she would have at least mentioned to her. Now, it is possible because, to do that with somebody else's help, however, because she'd have to have money, you'd have to feed the kids, you would have to stop here and there. Like, they would have to go to the bathroom. I mean, think about how many stops there would be, how many sightings there should be, right? Of gas stations. I mean, where did the kids, you got to be somewhere. And, in that aspect, I could see the husband being, not wanting to make a big deal out of this because he's still trying to hide whatever it is that she's running from, if you guys know what I'm saying. So that could be a possibility. I'm just saying, we don't know at this point. But it's not looking, it's not making him look any better to the public or to the police with him saying, yeah, I talked to my wife. She's fine. The kids are fine, but I'm not going to tell you, what number she called me from. I'm not going to tell you where she is. Like, that's super strange.
But if you look at the fact that NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they have already issued that these individuals are missing. Why? Because they've conducted their own investigation, which has shown that they're not in school, that there's been no sign or trace of them. That tells me the facts are leaning toward they haven't been taken of their free will.
All right. And this all started, as we said at the top of this, Lauren missed that appearance last week. And we say the court because it's important, this juvenile and domestic relations court. And then that date that she missed had actually been rescheduled because she missed the original scheduled court date the week before. Now, it's also important to note in all of this, there is no record, absolutely none, of domestic violence or 911 calls coming from their home. So how does all of this potentially complicate the situation?
Well, it does complicate the situation, Nicole, because those courts specifically deal with things like child abuse. They deal with issues like separation and custody matters to do with children. So it tells me, obviously, something very important was being discussed about those children. And the fact that that was missed and she went missing right at the same time, I think is a critical component to the why.
But we are certainly going to continue.
Well, something else I didn't hear them mention is that the original court date for them to go to court for this deal at the juvenile court was scheduled on September 5th, and she didn't show. So it was rescheduled again for September 13th. And again, she didn't show. And that's when she was reported, her and the kids were reported missing. And so I'm just saying, but we don't really know what we're looking at here. But the one thing we do know is they just didn't vanish into thin air. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. So where are all of these stops that they would have made doing all this traveling? So her mom said she was in New York visiting family. But her phone last pinged September 7th in Lexington. She was, the authorities say that they verified her whereabouts being in, sorry, I don't want to get it wrong. I want to grab my paper real quick. Litchfield, Illinois. On September 12th, stayed the night and left on September 13th. Now, if she was running away from something, she wouldn't use her bank cards, right? She wouldn't use her cell phone. Not only can you track the cell phones, you can track what towers they bounce off of, and obviously you can track credit cards. But if something malicious happened to her in the beginning of September, which is why she never made it to the first court date, then, she also wouldn't be using any form of anything, cell phones, any of that, obviously. So it really does make you wonder. And I'm sure authorities would have said if she had taken out a lump sum of cash, right before she went missing, that would make more, then you could be like, okay, maybe she did run. But the way it's looking right now, that might not be the case. So it's very scary for her and the children. And, I'm about fed up with these cases all of the time. Like these, moms be going missing, kids going missing. I'm just so sick of it. Yeah, I don't know, Casey. It's crazy. So let me pull this up. Is this the one? Okay. Now the police released this on September 19th. The Office of the Sheriff began a missing persons investigation on September 13th, 2023, after Lauren Cook did not appear for a scheduled court appearance in Franklin County Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court. This court date had already been rescheduled from a previous date of September 5th, 2023, where Lauren did not appear. Court documents in JDR court are not subject to public review. Juvenile records are confidential. Law enforcement follow-up was conducted with family members who had lost contact with Lauren and the children several days prior. It was at this time that a missing person report was made, and Lauren with her 3 children were all entered by law enforcement as missing persons. There has been no reported contact with Lauren since September 5th or 6th, when she stated that she was in New York visiting family. Again, New York is freaking covered with cameras on the roads everywhere. Like no spottings of her anywhere, no gas stations that she stopped at, no nothing. On September 14th, 2023, investigators confirmed that Lauren and her children were in Litchfield, Illinois. The family has connections to various other states, and it is suspected that they are not in Franklin County. To clear Lauren and her children from being missing persons, a law enforcement agency must make in-person contact with them in order to confirm that they are okay and not under duress. Until then, they will remain in local and national databases as missing. We urge that anyone with any updates on where Lauren Cook and her children may be to please reach out to our office at 540-483-3000 or to your local law enforcement. Now, if they haven't seen Lauren in person, how can they confirm that she is indeed in Illinois? She cannot be removed from the missing person database until she's seen in person. But they've confirmed that Lauren Cook was in Litchfield, Illinois. So confused. Exactly. I wonder how they confirmed that she was there. Was it a, CCTV footage? Was it at a, they must have been able to know she was there somehow. She must have been seen on surveillance somewhere. Oh, Casey. I actually was going to do an update video on that. I haven't been able to do it yet, but yeah. Okay. Now, this is Lauren. Family said they last had contact with Lauren was when she claimed to be in New York. Ellie says they know she was in Illinois. Was New York a text? Was Illinois a plate reader? Somebody said, not a text. She spoke to her mom September 5th and told her she was in New York visiting family. No idea about Illinois, but police did not make contact, so suspect they were seen in CCTV footage or something. Think if just played, police would have said car was seen. Not sighting could be untrue. So yeah, they didn't say. They just said they confirmed that she was in Illinois on the 12th and left on the 13th. I mean, it's so bizarre. This woman is just traveling from state to state, right? According, from what we're being told, and nobody's seen her. Nobody's spotted her and her kids. I mean, it's crazy. How can you do that with 3 children? Unless That's not true. Because again, her husband showing zero concern and not telling people where she is, if she is alive, not telling where she is a huge red flag for me. Now, let's look at this statement. From the husband, Jordan. Now, okay, this is him. Contrary to what has been reported, my wife and children are not missing. I have no reason to be concerned about their safety or well-being. I have heard from my wife, and I'm sure she and my children are doing well. We ask that our family's privacy be respected at this time. That makes no effing sense. None. Does that sound like a husband whose family is missing? No, it does not. Does it sound like a concerned party? No, it does not. So what is happening in this case? Where is she and where are those children? I mean, seriously. I mean, I get Chris Watts vibes here. I mean, I'm not stating that as fact. I'm just saying. Okay. Now, I'm not panicking. I'm just laying it all out there. I'm saying, yeah, just saying. I'm not panicking and I'm not stating anything as fact. I'm not placing any blame. But I mean, let's be real here. Nobody's seen or heard from this woman since the 5th that can be confirmed. That's a long time ago. Or those babies. Let's see. Mother of missing Virginia mom says she's deeply concerned and reveals her daughter is pregnant. The mother of a missing Virginia mom tells Today.com that she and her family are deeply concerned, revealing that her daughter is pregnant. We are deeply concerned for our daughter Lauren and our grandchildren, Benjamin, Hannah, Elijah, and our unborn grandchild, Lisa Tusa, tells Today.com via email. We want them all to know that we love them and are here for them and want to help bring them home safely. Lauren's husband, Jordan Cook, who is the father of their children, previously told a local broadcaster that he is not worried about his wife and 3 children, who police have declared missing. Contrary to what has been reported, my wife and children are not missing. He told WSET-TV on September 18th, I have no reason to be concerned about their safety or well-being. I have heard from my wife, and I am sure she and my children are doing well. We ask that our family's privacy be respected at this time. According to a September 19th Facebook post by the Franklin County Sheriff's Office in Rocky Mount, a missing persons investigation began on September 13th after Lauren Cook, 30, failed to show up to the Franklin County Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court for a scheduled appearance. Authorities are also searching for her 3 children. Law enforcement follow-up was conducted with family members who had lost contact with Lauren and the children several days prior. Okay. Sorry, hold on. It was at this time that a missing person report was made, and Lauren with her 3 children were all entered by law enforcement as missing persons. There has been no reported contact with Lauren since September 5th or 6th, when she stated she was in New York. Sergeant Megan Huston of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office told Today.com that the mother's cell phone last pinged on September 7th in Lexington, Kentucky. So on the 5th, she was supposedly in New York. And then on the 7th, her phone pinged in Lexington, Kentucky. And on the 14th, she was in Litchfield, Illinois. I mean, according to all of, I haven't actually seen her, but her phone pinged. Okay. Huston told Today that Jordan originally stated that he had not been in contact with his wife and children. Recently, he said that he had, but does not know or will not disclose the location. She added that Jordan is not specifically under investigation, but he is obviously within this investigation. On September 22nd, Huston shared an update with Today.com. Maybe that's Houston, it's just spelled different. The family was due back in court on Wednesday, September 20th, 2023, she says. Lauren and the children did not appear. The husband did. She added, both the husband and Lauren's mother relayed to investigators that they both received phone calls from Lauren the morning of court. The phone calls were simply to let them know that her and the kids were okay, but did not disclose the location. She says that Jordan has been cooperative with our office and has been attending any court dates that were set. Lauren and her children will remain classified as missing by authorities until they make face-to-face contact with law enforcement to ensure that they are okay and not under any duress. I mean, it's so insane. That's right. Keep it real. Her phone doesn't. That's not proof of anything. Yeah, something is definitely very wrong. And I pray to God that her and her children are found safe and they're brought home. And, you know, I pray for a good outcome on this because we don't see many of those. You know, I'm going to try to remain positive, and, you know, we just have to wait until we can get some more information, because basically what I'm getting is she has not actually been seen, physically seen, for almost a month. Yeah, I think she would have definitely, you know, let her mom know if she planned on taking off. And again, listen, I have 4 kids. There's no way, with her being pregnant and having 3 little ones under 10 in tow, that she would not have to make an astronomical amount of stops along her route. They would be able to track her, but just by that, from security footage of gas stations and bathrooms. And, you know, I mean, they got to eat. They, you know, I mean, this is crazy. I'm just, it's, you know, I'm just so sick of these kinds of stories, you know, that just the world that we live in, it's so full of hate and spite that it's just evil, you know? I mean, I will definitely keep you guys appraised. As you know, when I learn something new, you guys will know. She apparently is making decisions, her own decisions. I mean, proof of life would be nice, right? I mean, if her husband claims to know where she is and he claims that he's talked to her, then give police that information. What phone number did she call from? They can, you know, find out what location that is at. I mean, you want to say you know where she is and she's safe, well, prove it. Until then, her and your children are missing and you are not concerned at all. I mean, it's craziness. Is law enforcement pushing the issue? I I mean, you mean with the husband or what? This is very concerning. I mean, it's crazy to me that it was waited so long to report her missing. Like, do you realize how much time was lost that could have been, you know what I mean? Someone else might be redirecting her. I mean, that's a possibility. You know, anything's possible at this point. You know, somebody could have taken her and her 3 kids. Possible. Like a setup, like a, you know, like kidnap them and place them somewhere and hold them somewhere. It could be. Either way, I don't trust the husband 9 times out of 10. It's the spouse, and he's being sketchy. He is being sketchy, you know, but in all fairness, I mean, I don't get a good vibe off of what he said at all. But in all fairness, I'm not going to point fingers until there's more evidence to support that he did something. Law enforcement said that they questioned him, but I find it very odd that he says that he spoke to her. Wouldn't they have taken his phone to verify that call? I mean, you know, that seems like that'd be standard procedure. You know, and we wonder why cases don't get solved. I mean, it's craziness. You know, treat the husband with suspicion, question him, you know, figure out if he knows anything. And until you can clear him, everyone is a suspect. Exactly. I know. You know, and even Chris Watts, though, was playing oh my God, I just want my family home. I just want my family to come home. You know what I mean? Where this guy is just like, listen, I'm not even concerned. They're fine. Like, it's super sketchy. I'm not going to lie. We know something happened to her and her children. Something happened because nobody can find them. So it's not like this is, you know, coming out of nowhere. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'll be right back. You know, and I know they said, listen, there's been no DV calls to that house. 911 hasn't been called. That honestly doesn't mean anything. I mean, it doesn't mean anything just because there's never been a report filed and nobody's ever called the cops. I'm just saying there's a lot of different types of abuse. Again, not stating that that is what's going on here. I'm just laying everything out there. Shelly said, what's the court about? They didn't say, and juvenile records are sealed. So it didn't say what they were going to court for. But it seems very sketchy. Like, she didn't show up to the first court date, didn't show up to the second court date, which was 8 days apart. And she wasn't reported missing until the 13th. Which, according to the cops, the authorities, that was when she was in Litchfield, Illinois. I mean, it's so bizarre. Like, where's the proof that she was in New York? I mean, that's what I'm saying. They haven't come out with any of that. They haven't come out with one CCTV footage, one security footage. You know what I mean? Like nothing. So I don't even think that they know for a fact that she was in New York. Like, that's just something that her mom said. But it's very unfortunate that, you know, We have to talk about cases like this. It's a terrible thing that cases like this keep happening. The world we live in. But he would be buying himself some time. Right? She's 30 and all of her kids are 7, 5, and 2. I know. I keep going back to that, to CW, to what he did to his pregnant wife and children. And I hope and pray that that's not what we're looking at here. But some proof of life would be nice, right? That's what the cops are looking for. Again, her cell phone last pinged September 7th. She's had 0 bank activity. Nobody's heard a freaking word. No photos put out or videos of her last known whereabouts or where she was last seen or anything. We've got nothing. It's completely crazy. So I will keep you guys updated, and with anything that I hear, I'll share it with you guys. I just hope that her and her children are found safe. Again, if anyone has any information about Lauren or her children and their whereabouts, you are urged to contact the sheriff's office at 540-483-3000. Please go ahead and hit that thumbs up for me. Please consider subbing to the channel. And if you want to, please consider joining the family and becoming a member. We would love to have you. I love you guys. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe. Keep asking those hard questions. Keep spreading that light. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you all for coming.
You got it.